Welcome to the Seven Figure Network. This is Melford Bibbins, and today I'm joined by Brian Highfield. And this, you guys know that I love interviewing friends, and it's really cool because I have never met Brian before, but he literally lives across town from me. I just love the fact that Sarasota and Siesta Key are like this awesome epicenter of incredible network marketers. And again, Brian and I have never met. We just started talking like 5 minutes ago, and yet he lives no more than 10 minutes down maybe 20 minutes down the road from you. So we will be getting together aside from this podcast. So right. Just wanted to give you that weird, brief little introduction to Brian and myself. And so Brian, do me a favor and tell me what has actually brought you into this industry? Like, why did you get started in the first place?
Yeah, I tell you, I didn't even know what network marketing was when I was introduced to it. I knew of some party companies like Tupperware and Avon, and
you didn't want to sell Avon?
Some of those back then. I'm sorry,
you didn't want to sell Avon?
No, not really. The lipstick shades just do not do well for me. But so I didn't want to do that one. No plastic bowls for me, but. But what brought me to it is, first of all, I didn't know what it was. When I first heard network marketing as a term, I thought it had something to do with computers. And well, I was introduced to the first and only company I've ever been with, and it was the product itself. And I saw the huge potential of that. I didn't really appreciate or understand leverage income at the time. And so I became a student of the industry because I saw the potential. I saw a way of getting out of the situation I was in. I was an engineer for 20 some years with a phone company. And I was with a small company that got bought by a larger company. I became a number. I was really chained to a desk. I didn't feel like I was helping anybody. I was just in a position. I mean, the worst, I didn't have anybody calling me and say, Brian, thank you for getting my phone bill right this month. I mean, I just didn't feel like I was out there helping anybody in that job situation. And so when the opportunity was presented to me, didn't quite see the vision at first, but it opened the door. It creaked it open a little bit for me. I peered inside, became a student in the industry, and it took some time, but the light went off about a year later. And it hit me like a Mack truck. I finally saw the vision of what could be, and not only for myself and my family, but for tens of thousands of people out there that I could touch. And so it really was a learning process for me into the industry. And before that, like I said, didn't know much about it. My wife hated the industry because her family members, she saw them try over and over again. So she was the huge skeptic. But now she's a powerhouse as well in the industry. And so once you learn what it is and how to do it right, it does some really good things.
So you guys are building together.
We are building together. That's right.
That's fantastic, man. I love to hear that. Cause I know you don't know me well, but Conchetta and I built together as well. And it just makes me so happy when I can meet another couple that can really dig into this industry. And especially starting under those false pretenses that, you're doing the wrong thing, man.
Right, right.
I do not support you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's a heavy twist. Hey, man, both my brother-in-law and my son-in-law are engineers. So I know that analytical mindset, and it's very rare that I get to interview somebody that had an analytical background of that level before getting into network marketing. So I got to ask you, how has your engineering mindset helped you through this journey?
I don't know if it's helped me or hindered me, but I guess in my case, I really looked at analyzing people's options. I think that's where it's helped me, because really, if you're looking for something better, what are your options out there? And people, especially now with the Great Resignation and everything, people are wondering like, okay, well, I know I don't want to work this job that I hate, but what else do I do? If I want to start something, what they think is, okay, I need to go back to school and I need to spend tens of thousands of dollars for a degree that may or may not get me to even where I want to go. Maybe I open a business, and the average cost of opening a brick and mortar business is like $70,000 in the US. And not a lot of people have that capital sitting around. Maybe open a franchise. Well, I looked at that. That was one of the first things I looked at before I was introduced to network marketing. I was going to open a wing place. And I looked at the first brand name, the first franchise I looked at, I had to have a net worth of $2 million before they would even consider me. I looked at another one and I was considering opening that one, but right before I made that decision, the other bigger franchise just opened a location right where I was looking at. And so good thing I didn't make that bad decision, because I would have lost all my capital in that. So what are people going to do?
Yeah.
And so I started helping people understand what their options really are. And so we became really advocates of the industry and let people know this is not your crazy uncle's get rich quick scheme from 30, 40 years ago. Network marketing has become a profession. It keeps growing. It keeps growing. If you look at the industry statistics, it just keeps growing and growing out there. And so I think my analytical mind has really helped me be able to cast a vision for people to understand what their options really are and why network marketing is a great option for people.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because I told you, I was interviewing Larry and Taylor Thompson the other day, and we were talking about this exact thing, is that this is an amazing time for network marketers who are analytical and have a system in place because of the gig economy and the Great Resignation. And obviously, I'm not here to talk about myself, but the seven-figure network deals with trying to bring in, men, transitioning professionals, folks who never got into network marketing before because they didn't feel like there was a system in place for success. To an engineer, make a list of 100 people is not a system.
Right.
Call everybody and ask them if they want an opportunity is not a system. You need to have a system in place to attract people who have worked their entire lives within a system. And I'm not trying to be sexist, but that's your average guy, your average salesperson, your average anything. They would have never had any success at all in sales if they haven't been given a system by their employer.
And I like calling network marketing the great equalizer, because you have people, it doesn't matter what their background, what their age, and what their profession. If you have that system in place, anybody can just plug into that and have success, as long as they put in the work and are consistent with it. But and that's where I don't know if it's helped me or hindered me, is because I always look at building a better mousetrap. I'm always looking at improving the systems to make it more easy or more simple for people, really.
Well, man, I think your time is now. I mean, it's always funny to say that, everybody likes to talk about timing and everything else, but I mean, it seems like the timing is perfect for somebody like you right now, for that exact reason, that there's going to be other engineers looking for. There are millions, and that's not I'm not just blowing. That's not hyperbole. Yeah. There are millions of people right now who are higher education, higher earning gap, used to being in a systemized place, been doing a sales job or an engineering job for 20, 30 years, that are now looking for something new. You're that guy. You're that guy that understands that mindset and is going to almost provide more of a smooth path in, as opposed to the bumpy road that I think a lot of these guys assume they're going to have. And I apologize for saying guys. I mean, guys and gals, of course.
Yeah. Well, I was going to use an example of a gal who was an executive, really top level executive for a company you've heard of. And she was just looking for her next chapter in life. She felt like she had success. Now she wanted significance. And I was able to help guide her as a successful corporate person, also to kind of guide her to network marketing and to show her that now, you've had success, but what you really crave is significance. And let's show how you can really help a lot of people improve their health, and also, make money, improve their financial health.
I think about all the leadership training a C-suite person has had in a big company like that. That their company has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars teaching them how to be better leaders, and now they're available to us. I mean, it's almost extraordinary to me that these incredibly perfectly trained leaders are now just showing up out of nowhere. Yeah. It's never been like that before. That's why I love this time period so much. We've never had a time in history where this many people, this perfectly prepared for leadership, are just being dumped like a bucket into the workforce.
It's great.
So what are you doing for lead gen right now? I mean, I know, some people concentrate completely on their internet. I mean, obviously over the last few years, it's been a weird time. Everybody's had to change everything. But, talking about just today, what are you using today to attract new leaders? Because you've got this cool way of doing things. I want to know what you're doing today.
Yeah, what we're doing today is really looking for small business owners. And there's some great sites out there and social media sites that cater to small business owners because they understand they have that entrepreneurial gene in their body. And so it's less of a hurdle to really talk about owning your own business and how to be successful in business. They already desire that. And maybe they're need to supplement what they're doing now, or maybe their business isn't working as hope, but they know this is what they want to do. They want to own their own small business in order to really get ahead in life. And so we're leveraging a lot of those platforms that cater to small businesses.
So like LinkedIn, Alignable, stuff like that.
Yeah, Alignable has been great. LinkedIn is cast a wide net, but you're finding more professionals through LinkedIn. But Alignable is really a good network for those small business owners.
Mm-hmm. It's funny. I just joined like 2 months ago, and they must be doing a big push around here because they were just, support Sarasota, which of course I wanted to. So I joined and did the whole thing. But no, I love the fact that you said that because LinkedIn has been a great. It's so funny. Here's a little golden nugget for everybody. LinkedIn is a very hard place to find network marketers. LinkedIn is an amazing place to find business owners looking to transition.
That's right.
So don't go to LinkedIn searching for network marketers because it's not, you're going to get a weird batch of everything. It's just going to be very convoluted, but it's very easy to find business owners looking for something new, health or economics wise.
Right. And so, but my wife mostly uses LinkedIn, and she was in banking. She was a corporate person in banking. And so she's looking for other bankers. That's what LinkedIn, I think, is good for. You can find people that are in the same profession that you were in. And have that relationship and build off of that.
So smart. And it's just one little connection message. I mean, I don't know if our audience is using LinkedIn the way that they should be, but you can, that was like a platinum nugget right there. What your wife is doing is, LinkedIn is a huge universe, but you can cast a small net if you just niche down. And of course, that's business 101. Let's all be honest with each other. We're all big boys and girls here. Business 101 is laser focus on your perfect client, avatar this, avatar that, everything else. But LinkedIn allows you to almost automate it. You can just get a list of 100,000 bankers and just, hey, I used to be in a banking, can't wait to connect. Yep. And they want to connect.
Yeah. It's amazing.
There's like no friction. It feels much more frictionless than say Facebook or LinkedIn or any of those other ones that people are commonly using now.
Right. Yeah. And Alignable has been great for that because not many people are familiar with Alignable, but again, it's business-minded people, and just make that connection. And if you don't make it sound salesy, people will be happy to connect and start that relationship off. It's funny all the time when people say, well, I don't know anybody. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's just, there's hundreds of millions and billions of people out there on these different platforms that you can get to know because you have something in common with them, whatever your background is.
Yeah. Love it. So again, I'm going back to your analytical mind. Now let's flip the coin and let's talk about retention. So we talked about, how you're accruing your team, but how are you actually keeping people moving in the right direction? Because I love your B2B focus. Obviously, that's my heart and soul is B2B focus on this thing. So what are you guys putting in place for retention mechanisms for your team?
Yeah, a lot of different things. And so I always like the analogy that you're talking to a marching parade and not necessarily a standing army. Well said. That analogy, because people come and go. Things happen in life for whatever reasons. But what we've learned is that if you give this enough time, I think if there's any fault in network marketing is people don't give it enough time to learn the new skill to be successful at it. And maybe they came in with the wrong expectation that they're going to be making $1 million in just a few months, or this is going to be easy. But we try to set those expectations up front, and we do it in a way it's like, this is going to be hard. This is going to be a lot of work. This is going to take time to do. It's going to take you a year just to be good, but you're going to be world-class in just a few years at this if you stick with it. But at the end of all that, you are going to have more options than you ever dreamed of in terms of your time and where you spend your money on, and have all these benefits down the road if you just give it enough time. Yeah. So setting expectations is a big thing up front. Digging down, we call it different things, tap rooting, building depth. But really it's not the person necessarily that you enrolled. It's really who they enrolled. And you really get to know everyone in your team, because there are people that could be 30 generations away from you that is going to be your best man at your wedding, or is going to you're going to develop that relationship and is really going to take this to the highest levels in the company as well. And so we try to get to know everybody, because like I said, it's a moving parade, not a standing army, and people leave. And so we want to build the relationships with the people that see the same vision that we do. And that really helps a lot with retention.
Mm-hmm. You made a point that I just need to touch upon because I love you. I love hearing you say this so much. You talked about that some folks you're thinking that they're going to be world class if they put in their time, but it seems in this industry, the overpromise, underdeliver industry, it just drives us crazy. But, so often people say, oh, you're going to be world-class this, but they don't tell them how. They don't tell them what they need to do to get to that world-class level. They say, oh, you're going to make $1 million doing this. Don't worry about it. Those are the people that drop out, right?
Yep. Yeah. And it's really, we really stress personal development, that you have to be, we say it's a non-negotiable. You have to be at the training events. Yeah. It's just like if you start a new job and you start a new job and they say, okay, we're going to send you to training. Are you going to say, no, I'm good. I don't need that. No, you need to go to training. And structuring the trainings to where they look forward to them. You put some fun parameters around there that they do that. But trainings are not non-negotiable out there to do that. And also the personal development aspects. And so we really encourage people to attend these different seminars, not only that our company puts on, but even outside our company. There's some great organizations that put on some great events where they can go and just learn about the industry, learn about different skills, where people are having success, and just immersing themselves in everything rather than just putting the blinders on and just doing the same thing day in, day out, because that's going to drive them out the door pretty quick if it's not producing the results that they want.
Yeah, great point. Hey, perfect segue into talking about your book. Everybody knows I know how hard it is to be an author. Jen and I have worked a very long time to get 7-Figure Network book done. So we know exactly how hard it is to get this book done. So you have one of the greatest book titles of all time, Bazooka Proof. I even love the way it rolls off my tongue. So do me a favor and tell me about that. Because I know personal development is so near and dear to you. What did you dump of your soul into those books?
Right. Bazooka Proof, that's been an idea in my head for 20 some years. And prior to network marketing gave me the opportunity to actually give me the time to put pen to paper and crank it out. Why Bazooka Proof, the title? I feel that people can be better than bulletproof. I feel that they can be bazooka proof. And so the book is about mental toughness, building that resilient mindset out there. So, resilience is about, getting up after you get knocked down. And the book is about, don't get knocked down in the first place. There's ways to avoid those things and just get the most out of life. And so I call it the 5 laws of fulfillment as the subtitle, because I use storytelling to really illustrate the points inside the book. Most of them personal stories of mine, and I borrowed a few from other people. But it really illustrate that fulfillment is the foundation. Happiness kind of goes up and down. It's an emotion. Fulfillment is the baseline level set. And the book really teaches people how to build that up so that they enjoy more joy in their life, rather than just succumbing to all the up and down emotions that life has. Yeah.
Would you mind touching on the 5 points just a little bit?
Sure. So throw the book title up there so people can see what it looks like. Brian's copy, that was my first copy up there.
You can't have this one.
So, and the first one is going to sound so simple, but there's really a lot of depth to it. And it's a law of self-actualization. And it really talks about that no one has the power to tell you how to feel at any moment in time. You can only decide how you are to feel or react to anything. And that power is yours alone. So we have a whole chapter how to really harness that power. I think a lot of people listen to people they shouldn't listen to and believe what other people believe. And most of those people are wrong. So really, you and only you have the power to really have those thoughts in your head. We have the law of appreciation. We talk about appreciation a lot, right, in network marketing. And it's really teaching people how to be happier because they have so many things to appreciate. And we actually start at the very beginning. And I do a whole talk on this where I tell people, I'm like, you've already won the lottery. You've already won the lottery. I mean, look at all the things that are going for you. For example, 150,000 people died today. You're alive. So you've got that going for you. And I'm sure most of those people would have given anything in their life to just have one more day out there. So appreciate that. And that's one of like a long string. I really take them through probably about 10 to 15 things that are going right in their life, no matter who they are, so they can learn to appreciate that. We have the law of preservation. If you ever seen the Seinfeld episode where They were doing they were doing an event, and there was a doctor there, and Elaine had set a wine glass right on the edge of the table. And the doctor like grabbed her hand right away and say, "Why did you pick that exact spot to put your wine glass? It can fall off, it can break, you get glass, the glass gets in your foot, you get infected, you need your foot amputated." And he goes down this whole tirade of what could happen. And he's like, "All you have to do is move the glass over a little bit so it doesn't fall." And that illustrates the point of preservation. Is we need to guard our happiness, the things that are going right, the things that we have that we need to guard those, because if you don't want a speeding ticket, don't speed, right? I mean, that's another simple example of doing that. Positive mindset plays a big role. So there's a whole chapter on the law of positive mindset. And the last one is law of personal connection. And again, this really applies to network marketing a lot because it's all about personal connection. And that can really, really boost our not only effectiveness in network marketing, but it boosts our overall fulfillment and happiness in life, the more personal connections that we have. So those are the 5 laws as quickly as I can go through them.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Hey, so given that there's been such a weird flux over the last couple of years, and I mean, you know me long enough now to know that I'm a pretty Pollyanna guy. I'm a pretty happy guy. I don't like to talk about negativity too often, but what would you, if you were starting again today, no list, no nothing, just, it's funny. You just landed in Sarasota today. You don't know anybody. You got no warm market. You never even heard of Facebook before. What would you do today to get yourself started back up again?
To start up again, I look where people are, where people gather. And so I would look for those things. So of course there's online, but not a lot of people are comfortable doing things online. And you can find billions of people online. You can join any group. I don't care what your hobby or where your interest is. There's a group for that to go and connect with people that way. I built mostly offline. I built person to person. And so I had the mindset, I would walk into a restaurant, look around and figure out who I wanted to get to know in that restaurant, and sit down at the bar and start asking questions to people. I think that's the one thing that I didn't do well enough in the beginning, is learn how to ask the right questions to people. I just came in with my pitch without even knowing much about them.
What would a couple questions be?
So, what do you do? What do you do for a living? I use a little bit of reverse psychology. Sometimes I say, I always talk about how that must be the greatest thing in the world for them. No matter what their job. They say they're a teacher. I say, wow, that's got to be so rewarding for you to be a teacher, to mold our youth. And then they're going to tell me why they hate it. So when I do that, and so that's a great segue into an opportunity that they may be open to taking a look at. And so I use reverse psychology there. I tell them how great their job is, and they're going to tell me why it's awful and why they need to be doing something different. So that's one. But again, just get to know them. Kids, just ask them what their kids. I ask them what their kids' names are. I try to get to that level of depth. And I'm an introvert, by the way. So this has been a skill set that I've had to develop. I'm still kind of introverted, but I've really learned to appreciate getting to know people better at a deeper level. And so that skill set is definitely valuable in this industry.
That's great. So please continue with what you would do today.
So I talked about, if you're doing online, meeting people out there. So I love networking groups. And I'm always asking people, who do they know? So because it's not necessarily them. They may not be the right person, but who they know. And so just kind of getting referrals from people, asking them to introduce me to them. And online is great with that, because you can quickly do that through a 3-way chat or through Messenger. And so, hey, Melford, this is Brian. Brian is Melford. I thought you guys should connect. You have this in common, whatever. So that's another way. But gosh, I mean, really, the possibilities of those 3 areas I would go right away to start meeting people, because again, that is your gold mine. Your gold mine is building those relationships up, and then being able to then bring a solution and solve problems for them, whether it be in my case, health related or money related or both.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you mentioned the whole 3-way chat thing, because To me, that's the greatest power of this. I mean, yes, you can look at a million different people. Yes, you can send a million different messages out there. That's great. That's all fine and good.
Yeah.
We also know that 99% of those are going to bounce back and do nothing. But, you and I being B2B guys, you and I working a lot more with business owners, health and medical professionals, things like that. That is the ultimate way to meet these folks, because it just takes their guard down immediately. When one of their patients, when one of their friends, when one of their peers sets up a three-way conversation, it's like you just slice through so much to get to that person. No more gatekeeper, no more no soliciting sign on the front door, no more all the things that us door knockers, old school door knockers had to endure over the last couple of decades. That all just gets alleviated.
Right. Yeah. And so that no one likes to cold call. And you always, when you do cold calling, first of all, you have that fear that that's what they're thinking. And then they have this fear, like, who is this person and what are they trying to sell me?
Exactly.
And it cuts through all that. You're right.
So do me a favor and tell me, how can folks contact you personally?
Yeah, absolutely. And so one of my main websites is highlifeactivated.com, HIGHLIFE, the word activated.com. So you can go there, you can connect, you can see what I'm all about there. You'll see my wife, links to our books, links to some webinars that we've done, or some classes that we've done as well. So there's a lot of free content on there.
Beautiful. Thank you.
You can email me, Brian, BRIAN at highlifeactivated.com. Excuse me. Brian at highlifeactivated.com as well. I answer all my emails. So I'd love to connect with you if you feel like you have an interest in what we do, or you think we may have an interest in you as a person as well. We'd love to connect with people.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate the freebies. That's very cool. I always appreciate you giving gifts to the audience. So going to end with my favorite question of all. What is your 6-month goal?
So our 6-month goal is we are trying to achieve our next rank in our company as well. And it's really about making it about other people. So how many people can we help out of desperate situations? So we keep meeting people again through asking these questions, finding people that want something better, and helping them get to their goals. And like the old saying goes, you help enough people get what they want, you're going to get what you want. And so we've made our mission. What drives us now is helping other people. It's not about our personal goals that drive us. It's really just helping as many other people understand that they can have something better. They can have more options in their life. And so that's what gets us out of bed in the morning.
I love it. Thank you so much. So Brian Highfield, thanks so much for being on today. This has been fantastic. Like I said, I love when I can talk to somebody who had a real analytical background. I couldn't get the word out, really analytical background, and then have brought parts of that to this industry. So you've been able to actually mesh, what has worked in the industry all the time with that analytical mindset and system. So I really appreciate you giving us all these tips today, Brian. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Glad to be on. Thank you for having me.
Thanks. Have a great day, Brian.
You too.